Hey everyone, welcome back to Rogue One 6. We are joined by Parminder and Nathan today. Really happy to have you guys on again. Wish we could have Tony on, but he's got some things going on and we just didn't we weren't able to get a hold of him, so that's no big deal, but hope he's doing all right. And yeah, man, we're back at it. There's some interesting new things going on today with Lolan kind of showing us something new today, which is cool that we can talk about. Always and forever, we'll have hot toys to chat about. It seems like it's just a never-ending, spout of water being blasted in Nathan's face. So I feel bad for him, but yeah, we're back at it. So at the end of the episode, at the end of this show, we'll be talking about Andor stuff. So we're gonna go through like what our thoughts are with the second season and all that good stuff too. So Nathan and Parm, how you guys doing?
Yeah, good.
Yeah, good. Thanks.
Everything good? Anything? Any new pickups at all? Anything you guys grabbed at all?
Yeah, I got a couple of hot toys.
Get out of here.
No, right? Me, hot toys, never.
Get out.
No, I got the Airborne Trooper, the 212, the one that
That's a cool
the exclusive one that just dropped like last week or 2 weeks ago. Really cool to add to my clone army.
Nice.
Actually, I think. Oh no, that was it. I got so my dark side artisan Anakin. I got some real leather tabards to go on it. It's excessive, but it
That's
makes
cool.
It makes it.
Yeah,
no,
but
no,
at least it won't flake a couple of years down the road.
well, exactly, yeah, and it looks. I was worried it was going to be too like beefy, but it makes him look like even cooler. So yeah, it's my new favorite figure.
But on the other side, I've never had any issues with any of the hot toys. I've got the Vader, the original Vader, which was probably 10, 12 years old, still as good as new.
Yeah, I've had some belts and the odd bits of boots, but that's about it. It's never been as bad as getting like a whole suit.
But did you have those figures from new or
yeah,
yeah,
most of them, yeah.
Okay. Because I can imagine if you got a figure from somewhere else, you don't know its history, you don't know whether it's how.
Oh no, actually, I did have the New Hope Han. That was that belt went, but I just bought. Okay. I bought a new belt for it, so that's.
Because I guess we'll talk about the new Vader, but I think the new Vader is going to be it's a nylon suit, isn't it?
Nylon, yeah, I believe so. Yes. So whether I'll need to worry about that at all or not, I don't know.
Good looking Vader, that new one though.
Yeah. It is. It is pretty good. I think I say that was it. I think.
Nice.
Yeah. I can't think of anything else just yet.
Parm, anything come in for you at all, or
nothing significant? I stupidly bought the mouse droid when it launched. And
are you not happy about that decision, or
I've not even opened it? The box is massive. It's just like this huge box, and I'm like, what the hell am I going to do with this?
That's honestly why I didn't buy it, because I was like, I don't want a giant piece of plastic.
I mean, everybody says it's really cool. Everybody says great value for money and stuff. So I don't really know what to do with it yet.
I loved, and I absolutely loved the C-3PO head. Absolutely love it. It's fantastic. I just wasn't sure what I was gonna do with the mouse droid if I got it. Like I didn't know where I'd put it. I didn't know what I would do with it. So I
just jumped on it thinking that'd be cool to play around with. But when the box arrived, it was like, Jesus.
Giant, right?
Yeah.
Is it Disney Store or
yeah?
I think so. Yeah. Which it comes back in stock here and there. From what I understand,
there's people who are obviously trying to sell it for a lot more, but it'll come back in stock. But no, that's the only thing that came in. I've not really bought much, to be honest. I'm trying to be a bit sensible, but also I'm running out of space.
I know.
I'm at that point where I'd have to.
You and Tony both are running out of space.
Yeah, very selective.
I've sold a couple of figures the last
Yeah.
Few weeks just to make space for incoming ones.
Yeah.
But that's the dilemma I have now, is whether I, sell a significant chunk of the collection to create more space,
Yeah, no, I hear you. Parm, what would you sell? Like, what would you sell if you had to do that?
Close your ears, Nathan. The Hot Toys is the thing that constantly comes up as something to kind of phase out. But I still enjoy looking at them. I still, get a kick out of having them on display. I only collect the original trilogy one, so that's right. I'm not in the same position as Nathan, where there's like a constant stream of OT figures coming in.
God.
I don't generally get the sideshow ones. Obviously they've been releasing the the creature
Scum and Villain
Cantina, Cantina and Jabba's Palace, and that's another rabbit hole. But so thankfully I've not been picking too much up, but they occupy all my detail space, and I could effectively sell those, and then that would free up that space, and I could move stuff around.
How many do you have, Tom?
Sorry?
How many do you have?
Over 20 odd, 25 odd. I mean, basically all the OT ones, bar 2 or 3.
Okay, nice.
Yeah.
No, it's great.
So, it's a tough one because I really still enjoy them, and
I know.
But something's
you know what my vote is, Parm.
Yeah, I know. Yeah,
get those the hell out of your place, dude. Yeah. The problem is though, Parm, is that it's not like that opens up a ton of space.
It doesn't, but I can shift stuff around. I mean, surprisingly, I could move the Chewie bust, I can move the Tusken bust into the Detolfs. They fit perfectly, and so it frees up some larger shelves, and then I can move other stuff around.
Yeah,
so
that's true.
In my mind, I've got an idea of what could go there, but trying to actually, do the deed
I get it, dude.
I just can't be bothered either. I just don't like selling stuff. It's just a hassle.
That's the other problem, is that it's freaking it's a nightmare to
honestly
sell stuff.
dealing with people, right?
I know.
Tell me about it.
Talk to Jason about that.
At the moment, it's definitely a buyer's market.
I
sold. I'm getting off.
It's been like that for a while.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's just like you don't like before. You used to maybe get like your money back for what you paid, maybe a little more, but now you're getting. It's like, I think I sold my Clone Wars Anakin for £150, which is 100 less than I, which is not ideal.
Right.
No. Yeah, knowing what they were worth, knowing what they were going for, now what they're going for, it's a tough pill to swallow, and it makes it a little bit more difficult. You just think, I'll just hang on to them. But the other problem is, they're going to do a 2.0 release of some of this stuff.
Well, that's why I'm saying
the value's going to plummet, right?
Yeah,
that's true. I mean, that's why, Parm, the sooner you sell them, if you think you go or you want to, if you want to, the better. The sooner you get rid of them.
Even like the OT ones, they might redo a New Hope ones at some point.
They won't do them all. Yeah, they won't redo them all. Yeah,
I don't think.
Yeah,
some of them are quite have you got like Snowspeeder Luke and stuff like that? Or,
yeah.
But they won't be doing that anytime soon.
No, I think they'll revisit the original A New Hope characters. I think.
Yeah,
they're the ones that came out originally.
Dude, I've been telling Jason forever to if it doesn't fit and you're not.
But they're super happy with them. Pleasing to look at. I think that's the thing they do.
Dude, Hot Toys are amazing. Hot Toys are always they're always incredible. But it's at some point you got to realize, like, if you're not a Hot Toy collector, if that's not doing it for you anymore, or you need space, what are you gonna do?
It's more the space than anything.
What are you gonna do? You just gotta sell something,
or you just stop collecting. You think, fuck it, leave it.
Yeah, but you don't want to do that. That sucks. Jason, anything?
Wife would love that.
Yeah, she would.
Anything new at all?
Not really. I did pick up one of the mouse droids. I picked it up for somebody else, and then they reneged. So I wasn't buying it for myself. I built one a few years ago that was pretty decent, but I picked up one of those. I wasn't expecting to keep it, but I will. I did do a trade recently that I thought was interesting. So about 2 years ago, maybe 2.5 years ago, I had the Sideshow Tauntaun and the Sideshow Dewback, and I really liked them. They were amazing pieces. But I ended up just, I moved on and let them go. They actually went to a good collection. And then recently, I was about to list some Hot Toys, and somebody had mentioned like, "Hey, I'm willing to trade," and I guess they had some reason, I don't know what this backstory was, acquired Hot Toys Dewback with the Sand Trooper, the 2-pack. So I was like, yeah, I'll trade you a couple Hot Toys for that. So I did.
Nice.
So it's on its way in, and I'm actually pretty excited about that because it's something I wanted. I remember when it first came out, it was something that I wanted to order, and I was just like, I don't want to spend any money on Hot Toys right now. And then I was able to do a trade, which is pretty good. So looking forward to that. And then just like always, just I'm trying to finish up that Cantwell Y-wing. So I got a bunch of random kits coming in and out, trying to match that up, and then that's been it's been a fun project, but it's been a tedious one. And then just as usual, just building stuff. So kits and found parts and stuff like that. But I do have my eye on some Hot Toys. As you know, I had triples there on BT1 for a little bit. I got a Star Killer, and then what else did I ordered I got he's not in yet, but I got the Dark Side Luke, not the artisan version. I got Dark Side Luke. The Dave Dorman cover. You guys know what I'm talking about?
Yep.
And then I ended up I really, really liked the mall that was recently released at
the concept
Japan. Yeah, the concept one. So I ended up purchasing that as well. So I got a few things, but not going too crazy.
Yeah, it's going. I just on my side of things, I don't think I've gotten anything new in for a while. I think Yism at some point should be coming, but I will be getting at some point. I've told Jason this. I don't know when I'm going to order it, or I don't know when it's going to happen, but I'm looking to pick up the Merlin models, the AT-AT or the ATST, the Return of the Jedi.
Cool.
Model. So,
nice.
and I'm hoping we can do like a build, like I can build it on stream with Jason and, chat a little bit while it happens, and have him help me basically, get it done right.
Scale builder.
Yeah. Right. I'm not going to paint it. The idea is to leave it as it is. It'll
look great with the metal armature.
It'll look fine. I was telling Jason, it's a bummer they didn't make it, which is fine, but it's a bummer they didn't make it like Jason was talking about, where they make the model parts the actual color that they come in, the different model parts pieces.
Oh, right.
Like, the different colors. I think that would have been awesome if you left it unpainted that way, but
I just think that would have been costly. Yeah, so the saving
too costly.
It would have been cost prohibitive.
Yeah. Would have been really cool though. That would have been really cool. But yeah, I'm not, that's the idea, is to leave it unpainted and just kind of throw it up and
cool.
have so we'll see. But that's me. Nothing too crazy. And then, but yeah, let's kind of dive into the first situation here, which is going to be the Lolan Props piece that was just announced, actually.
Yeah.
Just put up this morning, right?
Yeah.
Pretty crazy. Let me get out of this. Okay. So yeah, they're doing restraining bolts, and they're doing both C-3PO and R2-D2, right? They have a signature version with Anthony Daniels' signature.
Yep.
I mean, these look really cool. I love that they're following the tradition of all their stuff and doing the same type of display, but they're actually just putting it on the restraining bolt on like is it vac metalized? Is it like,
I would assume, yeah. It looks it from here, but I haven't gotten a breakdown of the details.
I mean, it looks really good.
Vac metalized. I love the weathering, and just like always, the weathering's perfect. And just like always, you get it's gonna be magnetized, so it's removable.
I mean,
it's not resin, the restraining bolt. It's fashioned out of metal, so
or machined, right? Yeah.
So is it
nice? They've got the asymmetric kind of the front of it, as on C-3POs. It was kind of slightly off center, just that little silver bit. Yeah, it wasn't central, so that's really cool. And R2's is slightly different in that regard. So
yeah, it's got a different deal.
Yeah, different.
I mean, it's cool. I can see people buying both of these things.
I think that's why they're doing this. They're doing it in a timed fashion this time, because they wanted people to have the opportunity to get both if they wanted.
To purchase both of these.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So
I mean, it's brilliant. I mean, it really is. Like I not that I would have thought they would have done a restraining bolt at some point, Lolan Props, because it just makes sense. But
I think this has got the widest appeal of everything they've released so far. I think this set's probably going to be it.
Yeah, because this can fit in any collection. There's no
Exactly. Yeah.
There's nothing niche about it, and
Indeed.
that's why I like the idea that they went with the timed edition, because every other piece has been selling out in under an hour or less.
Yeah. And I think they knew that, so I think that's probably one of the reasons why. And then obviously they've got a limited number of signature edition ones as well, which will probably go straight away.
It looks great. It looks real good. I mean, I was worried when I first saw the pictures that the signature edition was the one that had the vac metallized like thing behind it, and then they were going to do a different thing for the non, but that's not the case, right? It's just a signature. And the signature edition is limited to 25.
Yeah,
I think so. Yeah,
25 pieces.
It's a pretty limited run.
It is, yeah. So, but the other ones, like you said, are timed, which is really awesome. I mean, Lolan Props hasn't done that yet.
No. And again, I think it's because this one's got wider appeal.
Yeah. Oh, that's great. Hopefully they sell a bunch. You know, it's I struggle with this because it's like I want timed editions and I want it to be easier to get stuff. I also don't want people to get screwed. I don't want a company to get screwed because they sold too much of something, right? You know, maybe this isn't going to be an issue with the restraining bolt thing. I have no idea, but you know, we've seen some other companies sell too many of something and get caught, right? So, yeah. Anyway, hopefully they are around for a very long time because I love the stuff that they do.
I think something like this, if you're talking in the manner in which I think you're talking in, because this isn't something significant like, you know,
right,
a Falcon.
Falcon.
Yeah, I mean, it's just
It's
an Airflex lens that's been broken down, dismantled, and you know, remantled with a bolt shoved through the middle. I mean, there's really nothing you can say or do. So
yeah,
even if they made 500 of these, I think
I will say, I will say that I know that they've limited some of their releases before this, just with that in mind, in some cases, and so. I know they've been trying to be careful, and so which I totally get. It's a freaking, you know, you don't want to upset anybody that you shouldn't upset, and so yeah. But anyway, this is fantastic. What a great release.
I mean, these things are just premium, and they're just staying at that premium level. You know,
they're great.
Yeah.
I mean, it looks really, really good.
Yeah, it's not like they took a can of aerosol or Krylon to it. I mean, this is
reflective of Marvin and Roy, right? I mean, their attention to detail is second to none. I mean, they are.
No, it's really, really, really smart, and it's awesome that they got Anthony Daniels to sign a plaque, and it looks really good. That does look really good on the piece. So anybody that picks up the signature edition is going to be happy.
You know, I was a little concerned about the signature, but I think it works. I like how the plaque's a little bit elongated, and it accommodates Anthony's signature really well. So
because his signature can be quite large, and you can quite often do the A and D pretty big. So it
really works well. It's very, very cohesive and very smooth looking. Yeah.
I will say, when you only give him a little bit of room to do that, he's probably going to be like, okay, I got to fit it in this box. But you know, you give more room.
Phil Tippett will, you know.
Yeah, he doesn't give a shit.
He'll go outside the line.
Phil will draw it up on the chest plate.
Phil will be on the chest plate on the freaking restraining bolt. He didn't give a shit.
You're like, Phil, you went outside the box.
I don't care. But man, this looks so good. All right, any of you guys thinking of picking anything up? Any one of these up?
Yeah, I think I'm gonna add these to the collection. I mean, I have a found parts version of this that I actually had a couple. One that someone had made that was like perfect. I ended up parting with that one, unfortunately, but I have another. So, but I just like the way these display. These look great. Yeah, you can't beat it.
So nice. They're so nice.
I'm gonna grab one of each.
Oh, are you gonna grab one of each?
Not sure yet. I mean, I haven't picked up the others, so but this is, like I said, given its broader appeal, it's more interesting. So
yeah,
I just want to be careful jumping into another line. That's the
yeah. What farm? You don't have to get into another line per se. You just get one.
What's good about these two is the other ones aren't really self-explanatory. I found myself, not often, I don't have a lot of guests, but you sometimes have to break down what it is and what it's about, and people are going to look at this and be like, "Oh, that's 3PO and R2." Like I like that.
It's really cool. I plan to get just the normal C3PO one is kind of what I'm thinking to put with the C3PO head. And I already have the C3PO Anthony Daniels signature. So, put all that stuff together.
I've got his signature on a plaque from the hyperdrive run.
Yep. Same. Yeah. So I think you put that with anything else. I mean, do you have the hand, Parm?
I don't know. No.
Okay.
That was that a signature edition? I can't remember. I think it was, wasn't it? It was.
I can't remember.
It was, I think. Yeah. It came with a plaque. Yeah.
But
I think there's plenty of options for Anthony Daniels signatures.
All this stuff would look great together, though. You could have like a little C3PO display, which would be awesome.
You could,
yeah. I don't know about getting both. Do you know, Jason, what the cost is on these? Do we have any ideas?
They are up. I actually just had it up. Hold on a second. So it breaks down to be
200 something for the individual editions and 400 and something for the signature edition.
Is that pounds or is that euros?
Euros. Okay. 225 for the regulars, and then you're looking at 425, not including shipping and conversion for the signature.
That's not bad at all.
No, very as usual, very reasonable.
Very good.
I love it. Are they when do they go up? Do they go up next weekend?
Sunday. Saturday, 31st of May.
Yeah. Next
8 p.m. Central European time.
Okay.
Yeah, they're right around the corner. Yeah.
It's so nice. It's so nice to not have to worry about these things selling out right when they go up, because I definitely want to get one of these, and it would be a bummer. That would be a bummer.
For sure.
I like the timed edition situation. That's nice. Thank you, Lolan, for doing that. That's going to be really helpful. Because again, like I said, some people will be very happy to get the signature edition, and good luck with that. That's awesome. I have no interest in that just because I don't need it. And so it helps to do the timed edition, which is great. This is awesome, man. I hope they keep giving us more and more and more stuff like this. This is great. I freaking love it.
I think they have lots planned. So yeah.
Yeah, it's great. So there's that. Let's get into this guy. Sorry, I'm coughing every now. I've been sick recently.
Before we start on this, so they made a 3.75-inch figure of this, like 20 years ago, right? Okay. And it was like a box set figure, and I bought it. I thought it was cool. And the one thing I never liked about the figure is he always had a very stiff look to him, because he's meant to sit on the medical slab, right, with that kind of like locked in at the arms and feet. And that always just, I don't know, just always kind of like threw me off a little bit. And I noticed that, and I get that it's intentional, I get that it's by design, but as much as that bothered me, I'm realizing that seeing this, they basically designed it in the same way, where he has a little bit of that stiff. I mean, I know he's posable outside of the bed, but he's got that similar look to the figure. And I know it's apples and oranges, but I just found right there. I just found it intriguing that it has a very similar display aesthetic.
I mean, this thing's crazy looking, dude. One thing I'll say that I was surprised about.
A massive piece. This picture is deceiving. I don't think people realize, like anybody who owned the ESP version where he was on that little two staircase step. I mean, even that was a display piece. So this thing is going to be massive.
I was just so surprised when I looked at Sideshow and I saw that there's like 4 versions of this thing, right? There's like, I think you can buy him just on his own.
Yeah, you can.
And then I think there's another version with where he's on his own, but he has like a couple other things. And then there's one with this whole situation. And then there's like a limited edition version, like a special edition version that you can get of this as well. So like there's 4 different versions. It's crazy.
There was that many. Well,
yeah, I'll look it up.
I kind of liked I'm not sure whether I'm getting this or not yet because, let's be honest, it's not going to fit in a detail. So, but yeah, it looks incredible, and I'm a Revenge of the Sith guy, so it's from my favorite film, so it would look very cool, but where to put it is the issue, like we were saying earlier about space.
It's a bit of a centerpiece, though, isn't it? I've seen some people that don't collect Hot Toys, who are mainly statue collectors, be really interested by this piece.
I think it would be a statue, wouldn't it? Because you might change the pose, but most people are going to have him lying down with putting the helmet on and like that.
And those little medical droids, they look great.
That looks pretty cool. I mean, how cool would it look with that, and then have the new Palpatine that got announced a month ago, have that next to him,
just looking over him,
peering over. Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm bringing it up now here. So this is what I was talking about. There's the collector edition.
Oh, you get a coin.
Oh, you get this little coin thing.
Yeah, I guess there's a special edition, and then there's a deluxe version, and then there's a deluxe version exclusive.
As we're talking about this, the other thing that puts it into perspective now, your average Hot Toy is roughly 12 inches tall. Anybody who owns a Vader, he's almost 13 inches to accommodate, his size difference amongst other figures. So think about that. That's almost a 13-inch tall figure. Look at that display piece. I mean, it's just a massive piece.
How? What is the measurements, Matt? Does it say?
It says, I mean, the figure alone is 13.7.
Look at that.
Yeah.
Let me see if I can't find I don't see a thing with the actual size. Man,
that's pretty cool.
That freaking burned face sculpt is crazy.
Can you imagine if it came with a sound effect? So when I saw that movie in theaters, that was such a bittersweet moment because like the face comes down and he takes his first breath and your hair stands up, right? It just like gives you chills. Like, oh my God. And then he breaks through the chains and he's like, no. And I'm like, oh my God. That was so bad.
Yeah.
She was alive. I felt it.
No, there he
is.
No. Did you say the figure was 13 points?
Yeah, just the figure.
Yeah, that's what it says. 13.7-inch figure.
So what's the? I guess he's longer than the table anyway. So is he longer than?
So the table itself is going to be what? At least 13 inches tall. It's going to be about 5.5, 6 inches wide. The round circular base of Tondo, I would say what? Yeah, go to product details. Let me see.
I mean, I did just measure my details.
13.78 inches high. Doesn't really tell you that.
You got to get this, Nathan. This is.
Yeah, I know, but where am I going to put it?
Oh, you figure something.
There's no room left.
I mean, look at that, dude. That is. I mean, that's just crazy.
Yeah, that's a really, really good sculpt. I think I saw a side profile shot of it, and it looks just like Hayden. Really, there you go.
Look at his he's like burnt cauliflower ear. Freaking disgusting.
That's brilliant.
I heard someone say that how cool would it, like one tiny little detail they could add. I mean, it would be a hard detail to add, but have the light up effects inside the helmet.
Oh, like it goes down.
Like it does in the film, but obviously, no one's going to see that, I guess.
Nobody's going to see that. Yeah.
Well, you can get those little, what are those LEDs that when you put them near the magnet, they turn on? What are those called? People use them for the Iron Man. You know what I'm talking about, right? They're like induction lights. They're LEDs.
Okay. Yeah, you can have induction, I guess.
Yeah, you can put one of those inside the helmet, so like the red shining out from beneath it.
But like Nathan says, it'll just add cost and complexity.
Yeah.
And then when it breaks,
I like how Hot Toys did this, where they actually like made the inside of this thing detailed as well, which is cool.
Yeah, it's really cool. It's a great release. I mean, I applaud them for this release. I mean, it just goes to show what they're capable of, right? And then
so they have two different capes, non-wired and wired. That's cool.
Yeah, right. Yeah,
I like that.
I just don't think. I mean, obviously, you could. I don't think anyone realistically is going to buy this without a table.
Yeah,
it doesn't make any sense.
Why? Like, I mean, even my like I said,
Vader.
Revenge of the Sith is my favorite film, but he's not my definitive Vader.
Yeah.
If I want one Vader, it'll be A New Hope or Empire or something.
Sure.
Yeah, his mask was too
have
symmetrical in this.
Yeah, the mask is off on this one. And here's the thing too, like for everybody that was nitpicking some of the images, I mean, it looks completely different on, you know, Hayden wearing the suit versus Dave Prowse wearing the suit, or any of the stunt doubles. It was completely different, and they nailed it. It looks just like
it's like the Revenge of the Sith suit,
yeah, it's the Revenge of the Sith suit, yeah. Because that one Vader that I favored amongst the Hot Toys, that was always, I had the ESP one and the New Hope one, but the Rogue One Vader was always one of my favorites.
I think that's still the best.
That's a good.
Yeah.
I just thought that one looked amazing on display.
Yeah. So, do you get what comes with the deluxe? Just the table and the droids, kind of a thing.
Yeah, I guess the whole
the removable helmet, the hands, the metal hands.
And then the exclusive. It's exclusive is just this extra coin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bullshit.
Yeah, I mean, it is tempting. If I had the space, 100%. But
if I had the space,
well, no, I mean, I could get this. I don't know.
But it's your favorite movie.
Exactly.
Yeah, I know, but I've already got. You know, I can't have every scene from that movie. Like,
yeah.
I watched some of these parts of metal.
This is what the whole prequel trilogy is leading up to, right?
Yeah, Nathan, when Hot Toys comes out, this is what you're gonna be kicking yourself. When Hot Toys comes out with Padme giving birth, the Padme giving birth figure, and you can like put these next to each other,
together.
You're gonna be kicking yourself, man.
Like she dies of sadness.
Exactly. Yeah. She dies of melancholy.
And like we mentioned, the suit shouldn't suffer any flaking, right? Because this is supposedly a nylon based suit.
I mean, it's just I worked out the other day. I just about have enough room for all the pre-orders I have, and after that, I've got no more room.
That's a problem.
Yeah, I mean, I pre-ordered Jar Jar just because
you have to.
But I had to have it, but I have nowhere to put it, so I'll have to figure that out.
Nathan, that's one of those things you're gonna end up having to start trading, like just kind of like trading things in and out. I mean,
yeah, I guess so.
So what lines do you collect, Nathan? Because you've obviously the prequel line, Clone Wars line, obviously. What are
all lines really?
Which one doesn't
you did the OT as well? You did the original trilogy.
Yeah.
And then you don't do any sequel stuff though, right?
I've got a Kylo and Rey.
I'll get rid of that shit.
For the full. No, I know, but the problem I have,
they are good figures.
Built quite a lot of the ones I've built dioramas for, so it's like, well, I can't get rid of them now because I built a scene for them.
Fair enough.
I honestly, the Kylo and Rey figures are great.
They are good figures.
They're great figures.
But like anything, I think there's a point where you do then have to start to focus your collection, right? I mean, I used to have a bunch of prequel figures. I had Qui-Gon and Maul and Obi-Wan and Revenge of the Sith. The Dark Side Anakin and a few others. And I just ended up selling them and just thought,
that's why I'm having an existential problem now with the Blitzway Black Series, the Black Label Anakin, because I want it's gonna look amazing. I'm gonna want to keep it, but at the same time, like I don't.
It's an outlier, right? It's an outlier.
I don't have anything to put him with. Yeah. So like I have no idea how that's gonna work out, but I don't know.
I mean, maybe one day if you decide to sell it, Matt, I'll listen to you.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, you won't have any problems moving that on, I guess. If it's
I wouldn't imagine, but it really is going to depend at the end of the day what they do with the original trilogy stuff.
Yeah. If they go deep on that line, then
yeah. Either way, I mean, look, this is a banger. They really killed it.
Yeah, definitely. I think this is incredible.
It does give me an excuse to get the Palpatine, I guess. So
yeah. That's that. Let's go on to this random one. This
is he from a video game?
It's Chopper from Rebels, but he's
in disguise, right?
In disguise, like Sabine painted him to be undercover in the Empire in the.
But isn't BD1 from the game? Yeah, BD1's from the game.
I think they're not. Yeah, they're not like a pack, as in.
So they never appear together in
no.
Like, no. Okay, that's what I thought. That's why I missed something. I thought, is this because I've not played the second? Is it Jedi Survivor? What's the first one?
Fallen Order.
I
played the first one. I haven't played the second one. So I thought it was maybe from the second game.
I think they just because I think it's a paint. You can do that paint scheme on him, but I think it's just an excuse because they got the mold from another droid pack they did. So they're just using the molds, and obviously they've done the mouse droid before. It's just a way to reuse the two molds, the two figures they've made, and making it exclusive. I mean, if I didn't already have a chopper, I might have gone for this, but
it looks good. It's just, I just don't. I mean,
I was trying to convince my brother because he collects the Hot Toys droids,
right?
But
them in disguise is like, all right. I mean, I don't know. It does look good though. It looks great.
Oh, it looks great, but it's very left field.
It looks great. The weathering, all the paint, it looks really good. But yeah, that there's that. And then we're not gonna go through all the Hot Toys because it's freaking ridiculous. But we're gonna go to this guy.
Nice.
I'm not a big fan of this one. I think this one looks a little bit rough.
It's weird because it's like people said like he looks like he's got no neck. Also, the head looks a bit too old to be Episode 2 Obi-Wan. Like, it looks more like Obi-Wan from the Kenobi series.
You know what it is, Nathan? For me, it just looks a little cheap. It looks a little like Marvel Legends figure.
Is this the artisan one or the no? Is this sculpted one? Yeah.
This is a sculpted one.
Yeah,
are they making an artisan version of this same figure?
Yeah. They've got an artisan version. Yeah, literally announced on the same day.
Let me see if I can find it real quick. Hold on.
Yeah, because I had it in my basket to buy or pre-order the artisan version 2 or 3 times, and went against it at the moment. Anyway, just because I'm like, it's a figure I would want, but I don't know. Again, don't know where I put it. I'd have to reshuffle things, and it's a lot. It's about £500 for the figure. So I feel like it's a lot of money to spend on something I'm not 100% about.
Yeah.
And also, just to clarify, the artisan element is just his hair, not his beard, right? They haven't got
hair. So it does look a little bit odd. Like I've got
it looks like Jesus.
Aragorn with a sculpted beard and that. Yeah, I think his beard's probably long enough. You could probably, I don't know, maybe not, but
it'd be hard to do. I think
it'd be hard. Yeah,
it does look a little bit better, but I don't. Dude, I don't know.
It looks like the Big Lebowski.
What's the deal with the lip? Like the lip just, I mean, it's just completely gone.
They've had that issue since
the first one. Yeah,
right?
One, yeah. And obviously, being a barber, I see a lot of mustaches.
Right.
And you do get it over the lip at times, but especially Ewan McGregor has it over the lip, maybe a bit more so in the later films and in the series, but he's got a very short beard in Attack of the Clones, mainly because I think it's a fake beard,
right?
So it's quite short. So that's why I think everyone thought this was just a reused sculpt with new hair. I think it is different, but. Yeah,
I don't know, man. I don't know. Look at this guy hanging on a droid.
They've made seamless forearms, which is awesome, but then they've made it just for this pose specifically, and it's kind of like
just for this.
Just the grab the hands like that, and I'm like, which is cool, but it's like, why can't they? If they're doing it for that, can they not do it for like a gripping hand as well? I did like this though because my number. If I could only have one more hot toy, it would be Phantom Menace Obi-Wan, which is it's the same outfit apart from a different head sculpt. So This might be my closest way of getting that.
They'll make that at some point.
Yeah,
I know, but we had the Phantom Menace anniversary.
That's the rat tail version, right?
Yeah, yeah. The young one.
They'll make that, dude.
I'm sure they will.
I guess like talking of reused stuff, they'll do that.
So
cool.
Nathan, are the hands aren't attached to the droid? They're just
what I think is either what happens is Obi-Wan's going to be on a flight stand, like that, and that probably the droid might attach. There might be a attachable. I've got Cad Bane, and it's like it's got a flight stand, and then a little bit off from it that the droid sits on. So it might be similar to that, or it might be magnetic. They might be magnetic. I don't know. Maybe.
It looks like there's a tube thing that comes and holds it up. Maybe.
Yeah. But that's. I think that might be holding Obi-Wan up. I don't know if that's holding.
No, this right here is holding Obi-Wan up. This grip, grabber, and then I think it keeps going.
Oh
up.
Yeah.
See, it keeps going up behind him, and that holds the droid.
So that'll attach to the back of the flight stand, I guess.
It's like a wire.
There's a lot of effort to put into something that wasn't like an iconic scene.
I know. I know.
Kind of. And it's like, I don't know how they might need to add weights into that flight stand because it's might be a bit too heavy to.
There's some chubby cheeks there too, huh?
I don't know, man. He just looks very biblical.
That's what people are saying. He looks like he hasn't got a neck.
Yeah, it looks like he put a few pounds on.
Yeah, it just looks a little apostolic.
I don't like the Joe Dirt look. Do they have a sculpted version of him?
They do, yeah. We were just looking at it. It doesn't look good though. In my opinion, I don't think it looks nearly as good as this.
I think it's just the sort of goatee side of it. It's like you got the tash and the side bits. He looks very like a goatee, which is you're right. There's definitely sides that look great, like they look decent. You know what I mean? It's that picture there, isn't it? The one on the right. It's that picture with the chubby cheeks.
But this right here looks good. This little stance, that stance.
Well, like someone said that because the artisan figures have got this. I was talking about like a few streams ago with my Anakin. I couldn't get the head on properly. I had to cut a bit away.
Yeah.
So these artisans have these new like neck adapters, and you can like click it up almost. So you click it down a bit so the head goes lower, or click it up. So what I'm thinking, maybe they clicked it down too much for this picture, and that's why he looks like he's not got a neck.
Yeah, I got you.
So,
this is cool, Jason. Did you see this little communicator right here?
Mm-hmm.
Little Lolan Props. That's cool. That's cool. Yeah, I mean, look, it's
a little 1/6 scale Roy and Marvin.
Exactly. It is cool. It's, I mean, whatever.
It's one I might get at some point.
Yeah.
But it's just, again, it's a space thing, isn't it?
Yeah, always. This is a good one to talk about for Parm here. I don't know, Parm, did you end up grabbing these guys or?
I didn't. No.
That's good. Parm, that's good, Parm.
They're cool and they're priced very, very reasonably. But I'm running out of space, and if they're gonna do the full, however many they're gonna do, I'm gonna have to pick and choose. So
I'm happy for you, man. I don't want you.
I decided not to go with these.
It's too many.
They are cool though, but I don't have a connection to them. I mean, I know that they're obviously in the archives.
Is he gonna make this freaking behemoth?
It's
a big boy.
That is huge.
That's bigger than Salacious and the Rancor.
Bro, that is massive. I didn't even think about this one. Like, that's huge.
I've seen the actual prop. When they toured the UK, they had that on display, and it's massive.
Holy shit! What is this thing back here? What is this?
The Death Star. It's the window that blows open when Luke and Vader, I think, are fighting, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's cool. I don't know what to say. I don't know what to say, Parm. I get it. He's making everything right. I get it. It's just I don't know, man. At some point.
You can say, Matt, just because you can doesn't mean you should, right?
You're right. I can't. I shouldn't say anything. I
No,
don't have.
I actually like the little white guy.
Yeah, the white guy's pretty cool.
Yeah, the green guy.
And they almost he almost made it into the movie, right? They tried to make this kind of character which was all lit up, and then they were gonna, apply some special effects afterwards, but it didn't turn out very good. So
yeah,
they're just not characters I remember as a kid, right? I mean, and so for me, most of my collection is predominantly to do with nostalgia,
right?
And the Kenner line.
Did these sell well? Did these sell well for them?
They're not sold out yet, but they're almost sold out.
That's good. Good. I'm happy.
Compared to some of the other more popular characters, they sold really well.
Yeah, I don't get it, and I don't have a lot of good things to say about these guys. But at the same time, I would hope that they sell well for them. I always want Regal Robot to do well.
Really good price for a pair.
What was the price? Do you remember?
I think it was $349 for the pair.
Yeah.
It's pretty reasonable given a single maquette was costing at least that. I know there's no signature associated with these, but
decent size too.
Yeah, and I think if you're doing the whole line, they're going to look great. I'm just going to have to be a little bit more selective.
You couldn't just buy one of them, right? You had to buy both. They came as a couple. Yeah. No, it's cool. I mean, like, geez, they're just gonna keep going and going and going. But that said, like, some of I think some of these are absolutely fantastic. I think some of these are absolutely ridiculous. But that's the maquette line, right? Like, and he's just, I mean, geez, dude, he's just gonna keep. I mean, he's just gonna keep.
There's
going.
So many. That's the problem.
So many. Look at this little furry guy.
Yeah, knowing that you're going to have to at some. I mean, obviously there's going to be some people who will get them all and can do that, but I certainly would not be able to get them all. So
has he made this face, dude? This like
no, he looks very Star Trek-y, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does.
Yeah,
and he hasn't made this one right here. He hasn't made this one yet, right? This like person with the gold.
The dancer, right? Is that the dancer? Yeah, I know. No, I suspect he will. I mean,
there's a lot.
I'm waiting for like Akbar and Squidhead and like Barada and all the Ewoks, for example, stuff that and that Gamorrean, the one that the full figure of the Gamorrean, that's going to be a great release when that eventually hits. So
the one that actually looks like a Gamorrean.
Yeah, so I think there's so many iconic ones yet to come. Just being conscious of space, I've got to pick my battles. Right?
Gosh, there's so many. I mean, it's crazy because a lot of the ones you were talking about, Parm, aren't even in this photo. Like it's crazy. Like I would be excited for the Ewok stuff.
Yeah. I mean, they will look great. I mean, they look great in the archives, and yeah. I mean, a Mana Man. If they do a Mana Man, that's going to be pretty amazing as well, right? So.
Yeah, it's really cool.
So because of that, I did pass, but I was tempted. I was close because of the price point. I was like,
Yeah. Do you know if Tony picked him up?
He said he was interested. I don't know. I've not spoken to him when these went up, but perhaps he did.
And Jason, you didn't pick these up.
I didn't.
Okay. I was wondering. Very, very. Very cool. Hopefully, obviously we're going to see a lot more. Do you know, do you have any idea, Parm, Jason, how many more concept releases we could see this year?
Well, there's going to be F1 Mon. There's going to be, so they've already announced their timeline. There's going to be another Return of the Jedi maquette release in June, end of June. And then there's going to be F1 Mon, which they said was going to be late summer.
Mm-hmm.
Beyond that, I don't know. They're the only two that I know. But originally, at the start of the year, if I remember correctly, they were only talking about 4 maquette releases, for the entire year. But obviously, they've already hit that mark. So,
Jason, anything that you heard of or know anything about that?
No, same. I know Evolmon's gonna be coming soon. I'm sure we'll see. So what? Late summer, we get the one coming out in June. So I'd say we probably see maybe 5 or 6 more before the end of the year.
Jeez, wow,
that's too much.
So many, dude. And the only big other releases we're talking about is like what, the Space Slug?
The Slug, yeah.
I
mean,
really
if you're gonna
feel
go the
get
Puppet
this.
Slug, that's just massive.
It's like huge.
It's 3 foot. It's huge.
Yeah, that's crazy, dude. Yeah, I was telling Jason, I look forward to, and I don't know if it'll happen, but I look forward to Regal Robot. I would love to see Regal Robot get back to the days of doing bigger pieces, fewer times.
Yeah, I think they will. I think what they said it on the last stream. It's just, a lot of prototyping, a lot of development goes into those particular pieces.
No, I know.
Particularly from how do they, because as far as mass producing these, comparatively, it's a lot easier. They're like resin casts. You just, create a single cast, you paint them, job done, right?
Yep.
There's obviously some more complex pieces like Amana Man and so on, but in general, but things like, for example, the Tuscan bust.
Yeah.
There's producing a one-off, but trying to mass produce that, the amount of effort it takes to kind of make sure that that's done effectively, efficiently, at a cost that people can kind of afford. I think that's what makes those kind of things pretty difficult.
Yeah.
So, I mean, they are going to release, I guess, a bust at some point.
I hope so. I love all the bigger, intricate stuff that they do, because I just think that's when Regal Robot shines. But that said, I mean, I really hope this line continues to sell well for them, because
I think it will.
We want Regal to do well, to continue making.
It's a great line. Stuff. Nobody else is going to do this.
Right? No, for sure.
And it's incredibly well done.
I hope no one else will do this. I hope they will only do it, and that when it's done, it's finished. That's what I hope. And we can move on. But I do love that it's selling well for them. That's great. And it gives like Tom, it gives them something to put online that isn't sold out all the time.
Sure.
Which is nice.
Yeah.
That is
it feels
nice,
gaps, doesn't it? I mean, because if they were to do the big releases and that's all they did, you'd only see 1 or 2 releases a year.
Oh, 100%.
There's they know that, I guess, collectors have a limited budget, but also the effort to produce these is. And
it wasn't super long ago where that was the case.
Yeah. It was pretty much 1 a year. Yeah, they did Chewbacca, then it was like the Rancor, and then it was like Salacious, and they were almost like 12 months apart.
Yeah. So it's nice that this is kind of like filler stuff for them, that they can do and still, it's good. It's good.
For sure. Yeah, it's a great line.
I'm happy for them. Let's get into chatting now about Andor, because I know we haven't done this yet. We haven't talked about Andor. And guys, if we missed anything, we'll chat about more collectibles next time we jump on. We'll get back to it. It's we gotta save some stuff for next time, and hopefully there'll be even more to chat about. But for Andor, real quick, did everyone enjoy the season 2?
Oh yeah,
definitely fantastic.
I'll give you my hot take on this. I think we watched some of the best Star Wars we've seen ever. I think in terms of the way Andor season 1, season 2 goes into Rogue One, I think it's arguably even better than the original trilogy in some ways. Like, I think it's that good. It's really, really good. Like, just being able to see the progression of what the Empire, how horrible the Empire was, and the oppression of people under the Empire, and how they had to figure out a way out of it, and build something that wasn't there with the rebellion, kind of a thing. Like, the spying, the Senate, and the intrigue, all the stuff that's going on, it's freaking great.
Oh yeah.
And the way it just rolls right into Rogue One is absolutely amazing. I just think it's incredible. And it gives so much, it makes Rogue One so much better.
It does.
It does.
It hits differently. Yeah.
It's so good.
I need to do, because I know you guys watched Rogue One after I didn't have time when I finished. So I want to set like a day free and do the last 3 episodes of Andor, Rogue One, and A New Hope, like back to back.
Yeah.
That'd be pretty cool.
It just adds so much more to it. And honestly, that's the kind of stuff that they should be doing. Not trying, like the sequels. I get that they wanted to make these like big tentpole movie things and whatever, but Andor, I love the way that they did Andor, where it's adding to the story. It's not taking away anything. It's adding a whole thing to the story. Like you get more and you feel so much more for characters, so much more for like what all the characters went through to get to that point. Like, you don't have to watch Andor necessarily, but it does make a big difference when you do. I don't know.
I think it's hit people so hardly in terms of positively.
Yeah.
It segued into people jumping onto Battlefront again, right?
Yeah.
I don't know if you've heard, Battlefront 2 has suddenly got the huge amount of subscribers again.
I've been playing it all weekend.
Have you?
I was going to jump on it. My PlayStation Plus subscription ran out, so I can't go on.
I renewed mine. I went back.
I was going to renew it.
My save is on my PS4, and I kept the game for some reason. Maybe I knew this day would come, but so I've been playing it all weekend, rebooting my PS4. It sounds like an aircraft's about to take off.
I need to do that, man. I love that game. That game is so
good it is. Brilliant. It's really fun because there was a point where I played a lot during lockdown, and then it sort of quietened down a bit. And it's hard to get a game. Yeah, but now it's like
everyone's on.
It's like apparently it was the highest ever play count this weekend.
It's crazy.
Ever.
Can I ask what the time is?
Because of Andor.
Andor's a big
the hype of Andor, the love for Andor has created like just much like when the Force Awakens was kind of teased and people were suddenly getting back into Star Wars. Andor seems to have done that a little bit.
I will say though,
people really excited about Star Wars.
Part of that is also though, I think there has been some hints that they might make another version.
Well,
Battlefront.
People are saying
there's people want it, but I don't think
Battlefront 3 and every
right. But that's what I'm saying. Part of it is just the people hinting at something, saying something. Right,
but I think that's been a lot of people have wanted Battlefront 3 for ages, but I just think the timeliness of this has a lot to do with people's love for Andor. Just on Andor, like you say, it's phenomenal TV, incredibly well done. They thought it out really well by doing the 3 episodes per week.
Yeah, I really enjoyed that.
And kind of 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years before Battle of Yavin.
Jason liked that.
Obviously, I thought that was fantastic. You really bought into that. Did Jason didn't like that? I thought it.
He didn't know about it.
Okay.
I wasn't picking up that they were a year apart each one because
But you didn't pick it up right away, but you picked it up in time.
I picked it up in time, but it's just it's not because you're not left with this big gap of information.
Sure,
right.
When the block of next 3 episodes air, you're not left wondering like, oh, what's going on here. It picks up and it has that cohesiveness to it. So.
Things have moved on and things have just got worse and worse and worse for those that are under the oppression of the empire.
It was really smart of them to do it. There's no doubt.
Very, very much so. Yeah,
very smart.
I thought, but just forget the storyline a second. I thought the costumes were fantastic.
Yeah,
the score was fantastic. The whole. If you listen to elements of the score, even though it wasn't orchestral, John Williams style, and I'm generally, for me, if Star Wars doesn't have that John Williams feel, it takes me away a little bit from it. But
you know what?
Didn't.
Yeah, you know what, Parm? It's amazing. Interesting. I heard them talk about this, and I mentioned this to Jason, where they said they went electronic.
Yeah.
Very early on, electronic with Andor,
and then segued slowly
and
to more.
Slowly went to orchestral to have it match Rogue One. It's so smart. So
really well done. Yeah, really well done. And I really like that electronic vibe with.
I do too.
One Mothma going a bit mental. That was.
The acting.
Fantastic.
I mean,
again. Yeah,
it's just
all of it.
It's just so good. I mean, Cassian, Diego Luna did a fantastic job, of course. Mon Mothma's character is an amazing actor. She's an incredible actress.
She's brilliant.
I thought the person I thought that did better and better and better and got to was Clea.
She was good. And she's not acted much before.
I know.
That was her first role.
Yeah, first major role. Yeah, she's done some theater stuff before, but
it's crazy. But like, but just the fact that like she was in it, but not like super in it. I think in Andor season 2 she had more of a role, but towards the end, I mean, it was pivotal. She was pivotal in that, especially that one of the best episodes was her in the hospital.
Yeah,
having to figure out how to take out the guy that she's been with forever.
Yeah,
right. That's basically her father.
Yeah.
And it's so good.
Yeah. And it was nice. The backstory was quite good.
That was really good. They did those flashbacks, and it was kind of because you didn't really like season 1 and even the start of this season. You didn't really. I thought she was just some person that worked for him, and then we see all that backstory, and it's like, wow, like, like you said, she's basically his dad, is her adopted father.
It's crazy.
And it just proves how important storytelling is, because if you think about the fact that it had a minority as a lead, it had a female as the primary antagonist, it had a lot of strong female characters, right? If you think about the amount of characters that they had, but nobody suggested it was, I hate to use the word woke, right? But nobody suggested it was. But if you were to just strip all that back, and you were going to say, well, we're going to have a Star Wars show where we've got a minority as the lead, we've got a female as the primary antagonist, we're going to have multiple, female characters who are going to be the core of the story. People have gone, no, this is Disney again, right? Yeah. But clearly, the story was so good that
so powerful.
People have looked a lot of it, right?
That's the thing. No one cares who plays the roles or what roles they are.
The storytelling is the most important
written.
bit. But conversely, people have to, accept that there were characters that obviously people would have found a little bit.
Yeah, and I'll say this: I think what the benefit of Rogue One, the benefit Rogue One has to the story and to its overall, the situation that it's doing is that it's not playing with these special characters that we're all super attached to. Like, it just isn't. It doesn't. You don't have Luke running around. You don't have Leia running around. You don't have
Jedi. There's no Jedis, right? But also, when it was originally announced that we were going to have a show about Andor, I think there was a lot of people thinking, do we need that? Is it going to be
right?
But clearly, we absolutely needed it. It was incredibly.
Well, I was kind of just excited for the sort of time period they were set at, and then I actually because like most people didn't really, Cassian was a cool character, but I didn't really like generally we've joked about me being mistaken for Cassian Andor in cosplay. Yeah. And
can't tell the
Celebration, it kind of it didn't annoy me, but I was kind of like, I don't want to be like Cassian.
Yeah.
And now I'm like actually contemplating doing a Cassian Andor.
Oh yeah, why not?
You should.
My girlfriend was like, well, if people keep calling you that, you might as well
go for it, dude. I'd be freaking sick, dude. I love that.
Definitely.
No, I honestly, like, one of the cool things, and Parm, you mentioned it, that I thought was, I talked to Jason about this too, is that I've mentioned this before, where seeing a lightsaber, seeing a Jedi, seeing Emperor Palpatine, something like that, should be super rare in the galaxy. It should be like extremely rare, and I think that's one thing that Andor does really, really well. It gives you that sense of, because of all the time that's passed, all the episodes, all that stuff, you get the sense that between, let's say you watched whatever you watched before Andor, and then you watch Andor, and then you watch Rogue One, and then you watch the original trilogy, you get that sense of feeling that it's very unlikely that you're going to see like a Jedi is they're not there. Like they've been, they've had the Order 66 stuff happen and they're gonzo, right? They're not around.
I saw someone talk about that the other day, and it was like how that makes the hallway scene at the end of Rogue One even more scary, because these guys, these rebellion, they've only heard about these, like the legends of the Jedi and all these things.
Yes.
And then to be like, it's frightening enough with Vader anyway, but just to see it for the first time, these things that are only like a myth, and then you're like, suddenly it's right in front of you,
terrifying,
attacking you, and you're like,
terrifying.
Wow.
No, I'm glad they didn't. I'm glad they didn't have the Emperor in. They didn't have Vader in. They didn't need to. They could have had Tarkin in, but again, I don't think he was missed because Krennic did such an amazing job, or you know, the guy that plays.
Well, Parm, there were some people that were thinking that, I heard some people saying that, oh, we think that Luthen might be a Jedi.
Yeah, I originally had that theory from
that wasn't the case.
Yeah, it was great that it wasn't.
I'm glad it wasn't. Yeah, same.
Yeah, I mean, there
was even that scene where the ISB, what's her name? Where she comes in and she shows herself, like, and remember I was saying,
people thought she was being choked by Vader or something, right?
Yeah, people are like, oh, thank God it was a panic attack, because it would have taken us right out of it. And
exactly,
you know, and I've been watching quite a few different interviews with Tony Gilroy, because he's been featured here and there and giving a lot of insight, and he talks a lot about like how much this has been thought through. And you know, he's saying, like, you know, look at our own planet, right? You know, we get Earth, we get all the universe and all the other planets, etc., and how big it is. Now we're in this other outer universe. It's just so 10x, right? 20x the size of ours. So the idea that, like, you know, Jedi would just be on every street corner and somebody would know a Skywalker, and it's just not it's not feasible. You know, it's not practical. It doesn't make any sense. And even the way they worked in, like, the use of the Force, the woman was kind of like, she really didn't know what it was, and she kind of picked up on it. And he's like, oh, that's mumbo jumbo, and that's how it should be looked at. And you know, the fact that they didn't have to rely on that, and you're right, I'm glad that, because in the previews we heard Vader breathe at the end of the first teaser, and I'm glad that we didn't get that, because I do think it would have taken us out of it. And I'm glad that it stood on its own 2 feet and did its own thing by delivering its own story, because there was so much to pay attention to and so much to focus on, and it's in its own right to really tell a story. And the other thing I like about it is, you know, there's been, you know, some chatter about, you know, the SA scene, the scene where she's so distraught over seeing that the young kid lose his life, and she's using the drugs, and you know, she's going through a really hard time. But these are all real life scenarios that happen. These are things that happen in real life, and especially when you're dealing with a you know, military and a troubled regime, and you know, disparity between, you know, the wealth and the impoverished, and you know, people that believe in something and fighting for their lives. Like, there's so much that goes into it, that this is the first time where we always get pitched Star Wars as the kids. Well, everybody thinks like, oh, it's a slow burn, it's this, it's that, that's what makes it mature. And it's like, not so much the subject matter or so much that, like, you have to pay attention. But I do think the return, you know, the return of investment on your time does make it, that's what sort of delivers it and labels it as a more mature, you know, theme. But overall, each character was utilized. I'm glad that, like, we weren't beat over the head with Krennic. Oh, look, like, fan service. It's Krennic.
No, it was perfectly,
he was so well utilized, and you know, and then when we saw the montage of every character sort of ending up, you know, even when she was like in Narkina, she goes to prison. You know, we see each character going in their own sort of way. Like, we get that story of, like, kind of when you're watching a documentary or a biopic and you see, like, oh, John moved on, this and that. I love seeing that as well. I just think it was so well thought out. And if we can have it here, it just shows that we can have that quality and level of Star Wars elsewhere.
Well, and you got to think that, like, think about the show that was successful before this show, right? Skeleton Crew.
That's great.
That was a great show. And it's very, like, kid-centric, just like fun, you know, adventure. And, like, you can have both of these things. I mean, that's what I think people need to understand. It's like, you don't have to have just one thing. You don't have to have a Game of Thrones where it's just Game of Thrones. That's it. Right. Like, you can have Star Wars can have these, like, different feeling things happen and be successful. And that's what I hope keeps happening. I hope they keep exploring, you know, different stories for different things. you know, it's great. I mean, you know, it'll be interesting to see what happens after this. Like, what are we gonna, you know, are they gonna, you know, what's the next big Star Wars thing? Do we know that what's coming out?
Series wise, I think it's Ahsoka 2, right?
Isn't it?
What's that?
So there's Ahsoka 2 coming out, right? Which is, I think that's been confirmed.
I think this year there's only a Vision.
There's a Vision coming out.
That's this year, and then next year it's the Mando and Grogu film, isn't it?
The movie Mando and Grogu,
which could be good or could be a bit like season 3. If it goes a bit more like season 1 and 2 Mando, then great.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not too excited for that one, but you know, I am excited for that. What's that? Starfighter.
That'll be yeah.
But I hope again, like you said, I hope we get more of this kind of stuff. Like I hope they tell stories in between the gaps, right? In between the like big things and give us more context into things. I think it's awesome.
There's a lot of stories to be told. I mean, you could tell a story between A New Hope and Empire. You could tell a story between Empire and Return of the Jedi.
Right.
But I think that's kind of sacred ground for George Lucas, isn't it? I don't think we're going to see Disney stepping in that era.
I think it depends on the story. I think it depends on the story, right?
Without impacting the the canon.
Right. I think if you're careful about it and you do an interesting, like this, what's so interesting about Rogue One is that they went for a story that's based off of this like small thing, which is like, I mean, it's not small, but it's like the Death Star plan. Like, how did they get the Death Star plans, right? Like they just took that story and ran with it and
ran with it. Yeah.
And it's just fascinating. I mean,
that for sure.
Yeah. Like they could do all kinds of really cool, like little nitpick, you know, things that they do. And I just think that overall tone of Andor was great. And I hope they keep.
Was there anything someone was hoping to see that they didn't see?
The only two things that I would say that I would like to see, and I had the same. So the one thing that I had a criticism of the first season, which I also think was somewhat of a criticism of the second season, there wasn't enough aliens. And I know that
I agree.
Budget wise, it's difficult, but I still think Star Wars being such a diverse universe, and the aliens, as far as I remember, were probably the most oppressed by the Empire. And also, you've got Return of the Jedi battle. Predominantly, the rebellion is the Mon Calamari, right, crew. So it's a shame not to have seen a few more aliens, but I don't think that caused the storyline to be any,
No,
I think it's
the only other thing. Sorry, just one other thing that I would have liked to have seen was something similar to the scene that we saw in season 1 where Luthen is fighting against that Star Destroyer. Maybe a few more set pieces in space, right? For me, Star Wars, I mean, I like the ships and stuff, right? So for me, a little bit of Star Wars is some kind of space battles. I find their transitions from planet to planet being far too easy, like escaping from Coruscant, coming into Coruscant. You'd expect there to be some kind of blockade of Star Destroyers or something. Just kind of, checking who you are, and then you have to kind of,
we had that obviously the scene of the first episode with the TIE fighter, the TIE Interceptor.
Yeah,
that was pretty cool. But then there could, like you said, there could have been some bits before him trying to get onto the planet.
He got away too easy, right?
Yeah, that's the thing. I did think that, and it was like, surely they chase him.
Exactly, chase him down or something. Have some kind of a dogfight or something like that. I know Star Wars isn't all about dogfights. Even George Lucas said it's not all about dogfights in space. But they're the only two things that I missed. But I'd still give the show a 10 out of 10. Even even having not so had. But it's for me, it's still a 10 out of 10. But yeah, that's the only things I wish it had.
So good.
I mean,
so the big moment that we saw where since I think for the first couple episodes of season 1 where he starts becoming obsessive over Andor, that hit so hard where he's in disbelief that he finally sees him after all this time. And Andor looks and he's like, "Who are you?" That hit hard.
That's
wow. And then he just took one to the head, and it was like,
because his story, we just didn't know what was the point of Cyril until he got a great storyline.
What a fantastic storyline!
Incredible. It goes from being some wannabe like police officer to living with his mum and being a mummy's boy.
Well, and the point of his story is how the Empire uses people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's all. That's literally his whole existence is just being used for the wrong reasons by the Empire. Like that's it.
Mhm.
You know, that guy. You know,
Yeah.
he
But
just
that was a scene that I just like I had a visceral reaction to that.
Oh, the massacre. The
Whoa,
whole
yeah.
that episode. Yeah.
the Gorman massacre was crazy.
Or even
Yeah.
how deadly the KX droids were. I'm like this, and I even said to Matt too. I know we all make jokes about the stormtroopers, and you know they can't hit it, but they were like brutal and deadly and scary. You know,
Yeah.
Jason.
Well,
though, I mean, I told you, I told you, like a stormtrooper's
right,
dream is to shoot into a.
I get it, but they still. I like that they took that extra effort to make them like these aren't something to be.
Yeah. I get it. It's just like, man, if I was a stormtrooper that could hardly shoot, I'd be like, this is fantastic. I just have to shoot into this big square. Like, awesome. Yeah, I can hit it.
Yeah, the K2. We didn't really talk about K2SO, but I thought his small arc within Andor was still perfect. He didn't want too much K2SO, right? But I think
K2SO.
Yeah, what they showed was
honestly okay. So we all loved Andor. It's absolutely fantastic. We hope there's more.
It's the pinnacle of what Disney's done so far, for sure.
Is there anything out of Andor that you want to see made as a collectible, or not that you might buy it, but like, would you like to see? What would you like to see being made out of?
See, this got me thinking actually that I don't need a collectible to enjoy a show.
Of course not.
And that's the interesting thing. I think quite often you think, you need to collect something to kind of just cement your love for a particular show. But yeah, I didn't come away from Andor thinking I must own something from Andor. Maybe, a replica of.
And I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that
U-wing, but that was in Rogue One anyway, right? But I don't necessarily need one.
See, I would say for me something would be like I want Sideshow to make another version of K2SO.
K2SO, yeah,
a premium format of some kind. I would jump and buy that in a second.
Mm-hmm.
That's all I'm saying is it doesn't have to be something that yeah, I get it. I get that. But is there anything, Nathan, do you know anything that you would?
Well, surprisingly a hot toy. I really like a Dedra hot toy.
Oh yeah,
Imperial, because we got a lot more Imperial sort of officers and stuff now.
Yeah,
I just think she's quite a cool looking character.
Yeah, would you want her a face sculpt that comes with that like eyes wide open face where you can put Krennic's like finger on her head while she's sitting down?
Did you hear that was an improvised scene as well?
Yeah, that was improvised. Yeah. Andor in his TIE pilot outfit would be pretty good as well as a.
That would be cool. He's mentioned that a bunch of times.
I've been saying I bought the Black Series one, but I would love to see that as a hot toy.
Yeah, that would be good.
I could see them doing that as like an exclusive.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they normally do that with exclusive. It's normally the same character they've done, but with a different outfit.
That would actually be really.
That would be good. I can imagine it would be interesting to see if Andor do delve deep into the Andor line. I mean, obviously they did a K2SO, and that's going to be popular because a lot of people perhaps missed out on the first release from Rogue One.
You've seen a lot of people trying to buy the older one.
Yeah, did you see the Rogue One figures getting snapped up?
Yeah.
Well, I can see them re-releasing Krennic, doing a Krennic 2.0 with maybe a slight change, like maybe they give him that sash that he wore or something like that.
It'd be cool to do that the version of Krennic where he's at the he's at the antique thing and he's got the full dress. With the dress up robe or whatever he's got on. That would be cool.
Actually, an obvious one, Mon Mothma.
Yeah.
I think it'd be a big hit. I think that figure would do really well.
But what I'd love is have one with two head sculpts, one with around the time when she did a speech and got rescued by Cassian in that kind of outfit, and then with her slick back hair, and then one with the classic sort of Mon Mothma within the classic outfit from Rogue One and A New Hope. And I think that on the subject of Mon Mothma, like obviously lots of people sacrificed a lot, but she sacrificed her
daughter,
luscious lifestyle and expensive haircuts because she went from all these amazing gowns and stuff and these cool haircuts to just having a short pixie cut with, you know, a bed sheet over the top. So she sacrificed a lot.
She did, and she had to stay. You know, during that whole time, she had to stay with that piece of shit husband of hers.
Yeah.
Who
ended up with his daughter's mother-in-law, right?
Which is mental.
Yeah, crazy.
But no, I mean, yeah, a Mon Mothma would be amazing. It would even be amazing to see that in a premium format.
I would like to see Hot Toys going on the line. It would even be great to see like a Saw Gerrera figure. That would be great.
He'd be a good figure. Even like some of the artifacts that are in Luthen's.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
You could imagine Regal perhaps doing.
Yeah, well, look at the Gungan, like
the shield.
Yeah, the skull. Yeah,
no, the skull.
Yeah.
Did you see the Gungan skull, Nathan?
Yeah,
I did. Yeah. And then I think they had the shield in there in the first season. I don't know if it was there or not.
Oh, this is another thing I was going to actually mention that we should kind of chat about real quick.
Oh yeah,
I totally forgot about this.
I've not seen anything official. I've only seen like some outlets reporting that they've all been laid off. You know, but I've not seen anything official from Gentle Giant.
Yeah, do we know if Gentle Giant is actually closing down, or is it? I know they're part of
being implied. Yeah, I think what was implied was that literally they've all been laid off.
Yeah.
And you know, I mean, I guess in the US that can just happen, right? You just get all laid off and that's it, right? It's just it's a little bit different in Europe, but there's nothing, like I said, there's nothing official on the Gentle Giant website. You go on the Gentle Giant website and there's still stuff available to order.
So technically it says that at least here when you look up business records here in the States,
they
were filing for Chapter 11 earlier this year. So it was already in the process.
Yeah. I saw something in January, February timeframe. There was some kind of
because I think a lot of people were trying to say it had to do with the tariffs, and although we are seeing that, I don't think this one in particular pertains to that.
Related, right?
Yeah, so it says that a large amount of staff has been laid off following the filing of Chapter 11 earlier this year. Diamond comic distributors have been taken over by NECA and WizKids, parent at Populum, with all staff at Diamond Select Toys and Gentle Giant Limited also being laid off, with both brands currently ceasing operations.
It's crazy.
Wow. That's a shame because I know we jested a couple of times, but they made some great stuff, and not just recently, but they've been around for a long time.
They have,
you know.
Well, and you got to think,
through Gentle Giant.
It's not only like Diamond Select does a lot of other shit.
Yeah,
they do a lot of other, like every time we went to Comic-Con. Jason, you remember we'd go to Diamond Select booth and there's all kinds of stuff they do. They do all kinds of shit. Like they don't just do Star Wars stuff. And like, so yeah, it's
you're NECA. Did NECA own? Maybe I'm getting confused. I thought NECA were involved in Gentle Giant and
no, I think no, NECA is, I don't know if NECA's like their own thing or if someone else owns NECA. I can't remember, but
so a company by the name of or a business group called Ad Populum LLC acquired a bunch of companies, and so it basically is like a breakdown of their brands. They have NECA, Joseph Enterprises, Kid Robot, WizKids, Department 56, et cetera, et cetera. Party City, which they closed that down. So it seems like they're acquiring companies and just shutting them down, because here in the States we have a company called Party City, which is popular for balloons and party favors, and we actually have a local one that was super busy. There was always lines there, and it wasn't like one of those stores that just like nobody shopped at. And once that got taken over, that got shut down. So it looks like this Ad Populum company is basically acquiring these firms and then just filing Chapter 11 on them.
Well, I think there's probably also a part of that, Jason, that's like, is Diamond Select actually generating the kind of money that they would want, that they would want to generate. You got to think there's got to be a reason for it at some point.
Yeah, it's probably not getting as much as they would have thought. When you're a boutique business like a Super 7, a Gentle Giant, a Regal Robot, and you have a very niche, customer base, a niche clientele. It's not corporate level spending and marketing, and if you go into it with the mindset that this is a corporate business and you're a boutique level business, then you're going to fold very quickly, because you can't be boutique minded operating at a corporate level, because that doesn't work either, and you can't be corporate level operating at boutique level. It just doesn't work.
Yeah. Well, and Edelson says OG Gentle Giant and Sideshow were the only game in town back in the early 2000s for Star Wars statues, and their minibus line was running over 20 years, so that is pretty crazy.
Yeah. They've been do anything McCory related.
Yeah, they've been around for a while, and it's sad to see, but at the same
jumbo
time,
figures.
Again, had they still stick around even this year, I think you're going to see some things happening, especially with the tariffs going on, because it's hitting toy companies and collectible companies pretty hard. I think, we don't have to get political about it. I'm just saying that I think no matter what, it's going to be an issue. And so, can they get through it? Can they stick around? That's a good question. You know what I mean? Now I know you're saying this happened beforehand, so they were already having issues. I get that, but I would imagine this would have exacerbated those issues even further.
I agree. I think
right. So,
Iron Studios released a statement as well, didn't they, recently, where they said that they were increasing prices because of tariffs. So, yeah.
I sent something recently to Jason. I don't know if you guys know Super 7 as a toy company. They're actually out of, I think, San Francisco and San Diego. But they're great little.
They're awesome.
Yeah. They make a lot of like turtle stuff. They made Masters Universe for a while. They made
what do they make? Everything.
They make Dungeons and Dragons stuff.
They make reaction figures.
Yeah, they make a ton of stuff. And great little company. But they sent out something recently that said the tariffs are killing them. They had to lay off some staff because of it. So I don't know, man. It's tough. It's a tough time for collectibles and toy companies. It's going to be interesting.
Yeah, it's a sad state of affairs, unfortunately, for Gentle Giant, because it's they've been around a long time.
They have been. And Edelson says their stock was being discounted all the time, so the writing was on the wall, unfortunately.
Yeah, I noticed that as well too. Yeah.
There's a lot of people that were invested in that jumbo line as well, weren't there? The Kenner jumbo line.
The jumbo line was awesome.
I love the jumbo line. I have a bunch of
they never completed the full 96, or and that's a shame, because I know they were pretty close. So yeah, it's a shame for those collecting that.
It's such a bummer, man.
Yeah. And those are great. Those display. Those are great displays.
And like I will say that Gentle Giant, in my opinion, Gentle Giant is very hit or miss. Their misses were freaking swinging all around and turning people, like there were huge misses, but they hit some of these things out of the park too, and they did a really like some of their minibus are fantastic.
That original minibus line from the beginning of the country was they were some of the best collectibles you could get.
Fantastic. So
it's gonna be that Count Dooku minibus.
I wish I would have bought it at this point. I might have to still see if I can find it somewhere. I'm sure I can at some point.
They did that Slave Leia as well, didn't they? That one where she's kind of
she's almost 6 scale. So if you have the Polystone Jabba from Sideshow, she displays well with it.
She does, yeah. No, they've made some incredible statues.
And like I was saying to Matt Farm when you signed off a second ago that they were one of the only companies that really went in deep with the McQuarrie stuff.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
concept stuff. Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah, they did a whole load of McQuarrie concept busts, didn't they?
Yeah, it's a bummer, guys. I mean, it is what it is. But
it's sad to see. Yeah, a company like that.
I think we're going to see some more of that stuff happen. It's sad to say. I just think it's going to be this year's going to be tough. So, anyway, I think that's going to be it for us, guys. Anything else, Jason? Are you pretty good?
Yeah, I think I'm good.
I did think of one more collectible I'd like from Andor.
Okay.
Another potential hot toy. It would be cool to have either Andor or Andy Serkis's character in the prison outfit.
In the prison outfit. Yeah,
that would be a really cool one to have. I think
that would be a cool one for sure.
Yeah,
or
yeah,
you could have Dedra in the same outfit, right?
Yeah, you could. Yeah,
that would be cool.
But yeah, that'd be great. Yeah, like you say, Andor. It'd be interesting to see what merchandise they do release for that. I'm guessing not a lot because it was aimed at children, which is that's the one thing that perhaps is the reason why we didn't see a lot of merchandise.
But I would hope a company like Sideshow would understand that that's a perfect opportunity for them.
Yeah,
but remember, I was saying early on though, I actually liked the fact that they weren't relying on novelty and merch-related characters. Like, I mean, Baby Yoda, as much as an introduction as he was at the time, Grogu, that was 100% a merchandise cash grab.
Yeah.
There we go. I mean,
I bought everything.
Have you seen me? Yes.
Nobody cares, Nathan.
I'll tell you what I would like to see. I would like to see a release of the soundtrack on CD.
Sure.
I know.
Yeah, or a limited vinyl or something.
Sorry, that's one thing I did pick up actually.
Yeah, all the season 1 and season 2 on 4K Blu-ray or something like that.
That's cool.
Yeah, that's cool. I've seen that. Yeah,
that's cool, Nathan. I like that.
Yeah, so a vinyl release of the soundtrack, or a CD release of the soundtrack, or
I'm sure
4K release of,
I think you'll see that.
season 1 and season 2. That would be fantastic.
Yeah, you'll see that. Well, either way, guys, I think that's going to be it for us. We're going to do, Jason and I are going to do some spotlights at some point. There's a lot to talk about. Lolan Props.
We're going to have about 4 or 5 spotlights. I have a bit of a busy week coming up where I'll be off the grid a little bit, hospital stuff, not to get too personal. And then you're actually traveling to Boston the following week, right?
Yeah, for work, yeah.
Oh, Monday. Yeah, you'll actually be here, not this Monday, but next Monday.
Yeah, so I get to see Jason. It'll be fun.
Oh, nice.
So, yeah, and so we'll try to get a few spotlights recorded and posted before that, and we'll kind of drop them throughout the week.
Yeah.
And then hopefully we'll see you guys back in 2 weeks.
Yeah, that'd be great. And hopefully there's some more to talk about. I'm sure there will be, but yeah, that'd be awesome. So, otherwise, guys, thanks for hanging out. We really appreciate it. And, we'll see you on the next one.